Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Nelson, you're watching Nature Now. And if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I have loads and loads of blooms to show you guys in this first of the year in January. What's in bloom in January? And it's been gloomy and doomy and gray. We've had no light. I think we've had sun maybe 2 or 3 days since December, and we're already halfway through the month. So it's very weird. Thank God we don't have the crazy winds that we usually have. It's calm and you hear crickets, which is weird because normally at this time you're hearing birds. So everything is kind of like, I did say 2024 is going to be a really weird one. So let's just have fun with it. But anyways, guys, I don't want to keep chatting away. I just want to get right to it. So let's go look at some blooms. All right, my subscribers, viewers, and newbies. Let's start right where we always start. Now, I do want to go here in the front. I did mention in my last haul over and over and over again that I had new projects lined up, and you are seeing them right now. What I'm doing is I got inspired by Maria and Mercedes visiting their homes, and I started creating my own rendition of towers. I took some of their ideas, added my own, and what I did was I simply went to Home Depot and bought these massive, massive pots. That was 20, that was 14, and that's why I bought them, because they were really inexpensive. It's almost wholesale price. So what I did was I filled the inside with styrofoam, okay, almost to this line. So that way you're not filling it up with lava rock all the way. It's too much lava rock. It's going to make it, it's already kind of heavy, but it's still, you know, you can still move this. See, it could still be moved in with one hand. And so Carlos over at Ophi's built these screens for me. I know how to make them. I was just being lazy. But I went over there and I had him build 2 wires for me. And I put them really wide so that way they're not so deep into the pot. And then the top, I layered it with lava rock that I also got at Home Depot. I got a couple of those bags. And I decided to just hang most, if not all, my dendrobiums. I'm gonna be doing this to them because I found that dendrobiums really like to hang on a mount. That's how they just shine, you know. Now some of these I did, like these big cane dendrobiums, I did put them in a pot with lava rock as well, so it's very airy. And this actually becomes like braces on your teeth. It keeps them nice and straight up like that. So if I ever decide to show something like this, let's say 10 years from now, this will be a huge specimen. I could just take the wire out, and it is so conditioned to grow that way that I could put it freestanding and it'll be long canes with a shower of flowers. So that's the idea as of now. Now, when I say that, it's because everything morphs into different ideas. Like this turned out completely different than what I thought. I had this big white pot and I have tamarind tree. So we cut some branches. Tamarind wood will last you forever. It's one of the best woods. This wood will be around way after I'm gone. So I'm putting all the mini vandas. Like I told you guys, this was the other project. That's why I bought so many mini vandas in my haul. It's because I want to do a mini vanda tower. But this one I want to do out of my tamarind branches. So what I did was, again, I put styrofoam inside, you know, the little popcorn packaging styrofoam, and then it's easy to kind of see, these are kind of stiff there, but they're not solid stiff. Like if you want to create a different shape, you can move them around and they'll stay, because the styrofoam creates sort of like a break that doesn't allow it to move. And then you top it with volcanic rock, and this puppy is firm there. And so this Oncidium, this dancing lady, which is deliciously fragrant, I've had for many, many, many years. I got this from Anna from Blooming Paradise down here in Homestead. And it was a tiny little thing, and I put it on my areca palms, and it got this big. But the arecas got very dense, and it just was not blooming. So I took it out and sort of mimic the way the areca's palm branch, what do you call it, cane tree, palm tree, was laying, so that way this feels almost as if it's in the same position, the same way it was growing, because that's what it looked like from inside. But now it's got light. See, this is the beautiful gray skies of Miami. And yes, this is where, as you guys can see, the project is going to start very soon, because I have already the pots and I have the wire. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of that. Now let's start what we wanted to start with. I want to show you new blooms. I don't want to like repeat, because I have other what's in bloom. I do want to show you this one because it's fully open now. I've shown you several times. This is a Roy Tokunaga cross chip, microchip, isn't it? I always call it microchip because I used to have a microchip. Roy Tokunaga Semi-Alba and Cala Quintal. It's such a pretty dendrobium, and there was a lot of these at the show, by the way, because this is their season now, and they had some now that are very pink. But this one, what I like about this one is that the petals are extremely white. You see? Very clean. And in the backside, it's just as beautiful. I have to be careful because there's an anosmum right above here, and I don't want to. See? This is from SW Orchids. I can't wait. This is the Knifer's Quest. It's got a little tiny one over there. Now this one just started opening. The Brassavola nodosa. A fan favorite for collectors. And it smells so good at night, guys. This is one of those extreme fragrant flowers that once you lay your nose on it, you don't want to, they have to peel you away. Josh's wife, Raquel, how are you? She fell in love with this. She's like, she had never smelled it. She's like, oh my God, this is amazing. She kept on going back and back and back. But it's a pretty flower, looks like a heart. And the fragrance is just delectable. And here it is, one of my own tags. All right, let's see. Now, this is not an orchid, but God, this is the first time this has happened with my Christmas cactus. Look how beautiful that is. Now they're a little bit late to the party, but man, are they making a beautiful statement. Those flowers are just really beautiful. And this pink one here was a gift from a friend of mine who moved to England, Tina, and she gave it to me when she left. And it was half the size of this, but it was a pretty big plant already. I just love the flower. It's so cool looking. Right? Isn't that cool? It's just so unique. And it would never bloom. And I thought, what was I doing? So I brought it from my apartment here, and lo and behold, look at her for the first time. And then this one was last year. My partner Lewis brought it to the house for Christmas, and it was pretty. It was a tiny little cat. It was nowhere near the size. These things grow fast. I didn't know that either. And I brought it out here, and it did the same as a pink. It's such a pretty flower. And it adds so much to my green space. Now, speaking of adding to my green space, the fantabulous Lion Sing. Look at this beauty. Now, for you guys that are just learning of this orchid, This is one of those orchids that, number one, that pink and limey, lemony yellow is just a perfect combination on a flower. Then you add the incredible fragrance that it carries and the abundance of flowers that it gives you. And it's the perfect Vanda to have in your collection. Let me get you a name now. These are considered Vanda castylis because they are hybrid. Hold on. There we go. Vanda castylis lime sing. Now the place that actually cultivated these, I think in Taiwan, maybe Taiwan or Thailand. I don't know which one of the two. I heard that got destroyed, and a lot of the plants got destroyed. They only have, I believe, the flasks. So it's going to take several years to get these. So if you find these, which I highly doubt you will, I haven't seen any around, grab it quickly, because it's not easy to find these. And I got this one at Banyang several years ago. Now, for the first time, drum roll, look at this. Guys, my paths this year are giving me so much show. This is my Mount Toto. I'll show you the tag in a bit, but for now, check out this beauty. Oh, thank God for this light. Right now with this gray sky, this would have not been happening. The beauty of those petals just dripping down like that. It is truly dripping. I love it. That's like jewelry on an orchid. And this one I got from Lady Vanda years ago. I showed her a picture. I go, look who's blooming. And she was like, that's your path? Oh no, look, it's breaking. You know what that means? I'm not gonna pull it out. That's how long I've had it there. Mount Toto Henry Wellbrum. Oh, it's an award of merit. I didn't even know it had an award of merit. So I got to be careful. Maybe I should do a new tag for it. And I told her, you know, I've had that. It was the first orchid I bought from you guys for years. I would say maybe 3 years now. And nothing. It just grows and grows. Do you think it's just going to be one of those orchids that only grows? And lo and behold, this is the year that it gave me 3 actually it had 2 spikes, but one of the spikes got rotted with the rain. But this one fared through, and it's giving me 3 flowers. Has 1 more to go. And right next to it, opening as well, this gorgeous from Florida Orchid House. Please, doggy, not now. You've been so good, Papa. Look at the shine on that. Well, if he continues, I'll stop and then start again. I'm showing you guys every profile because this is really a winner. And look in there how shiny. See the pollen right there? Those 2 little dots is the pollen. What a beauty she is. And this one I won at an auction. And it comes from the Florida Orchid House. Now guys, fun fact, a lot of these orchids, they're not strictly from that. When I say it comes from the Florida Orchid House, yes, you can get it there. That's where I bought it. You can get the same exact one. Unfortunately, this one just lost the other one that had 2. But I'm going to see if I can inset, if I have a video of this one with the 2. But this is the Joyce Hasegawa. Hasegawa. And I got this from Tang. And what I was saying about, from Spring Water, by the way, what I was saying about orchids, sometimes you can, like this same one, you can get this at Tang. Tang carries this as well. I've seen it in his booth. So a lot of them, you know, they share orchids, they trade orchids, you know, at the shows. Some people bring something that the other one doesn't have, and then they'll say, hey, you know, give me 2 of those and I'll give you 2 of these. And it's a great community, you know. business is always competitive. You know, whoever tells you that, oh, no one here is competitive, that's not true. Because if not, you're not a good business, you know, person. There has to be a level of competition, but not aggressive, just fun competition. You know, like when you're playing a board game, you're not trying to like destroy someone, you're just trying to win, have fun, right? Well, that's sort of how business should be. Have fun with it, but still keep a good mind in business, and make sure that you do it well, so that way that you move your business forward, but not trying to crush somebody else. And that's what I notice about the beauty of this orchid community. I don't find people trying to crush each other. I mean, I'm sure there's probably someone out there, but that I know of, I don't think so. It's a beautiful community. And I don't think if somebody were to come into this community with that type of mind, that toxic mindset, they wouldn't probably be so welcomed, so welcomed, or they would feel out of place, because we're a goofy big crowd. You know, I just showed you this. I'm here giving you a story, and I didn't even give you the name. This comes from Kroll Smith. I got this at Kroll Smith a couple of years ago. I went on a crazy Vanda shopping, and it's kind of wearing out. I got to make a tag for this. And they had a bunch, and I just like, in 5 minutes, I said, I want this. The first time I ever did something like that. And every single one of those Vandas still blooms for me beautifully, like that one. Now, this one I was showing you, this is the Evergreen Delight, and it's from Bangyang. It lasts forever, but the rain really did a little number on the flowers, unfortunately, so they're spotting already. But I did have it for a long time, and I did feature it on my last Wet and Bloom. Now up here, it's called, I don't have a tag for this, I lost it. This is a Xena from Bangyang, Xena, very simple. And it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous yellow flower. It has that beautiful, the back is already going. That one was blooming for quite a while. And then I noticed it had another spike. And I'm like, oh, you're gonna surprise me with something else, Poopy. Isn't it a pretty flower, guys? It really is stunning. Now moving to the next, I'm gonna go a little quicker because I have a lot of things. Look at this. This is my volcano trick. Give me the name. I'm doing this because I really don't want to do too much editing, because that way I can go quicker and release these videos much faster. The editing is what takes long, guys. Everything else doesn't take that long. It's all in the editing, but I do love doing it. Look at that. How beautiful. This cascade of flowers. Now, I got this 2 years ago at Vicky's Orchids down here in Homestead. I featured her several times at Ophi's. She's a staple there at Ophi's, just like Udeli's and Roxy Orchids 305 and Kroll Smith and Nature's Tapestry and Sierra Madre. There's so many. It's a family, I'm telling you. We're all a big family. All right, so let's go back here. Now, this is a wonderful little compact, and I'm so happy that I'm featuring her, because I just featured them over at the Tamiami show. If you guys want to see their booth, they have the most unique and spectacular compact Vandas. Everything they sell is this size. You can grow these anywhere, in your house, by a window, outdoors, in your porch, and look at the amount of roots, hardly nothing. And this is already 2 years old compared to my friend next door. This is great. So it's not something that's going to take a lot of space. And this plant just turned 1 year. This was a gift from Tangerine Garden. And I always say Tangerine Gardens, but I don't know if it's Tangerine Green or Tangerine Garden. Either way, you know, I always correct it on my editing. Here's the name of this beautiful, and his uncle and them now are all doing the crosses. And this is named after his uncle. He had told me, I could never say that name. Pararia, Sawanafum Sunshine. So Suwan is the name of his uncle, and let me see. I'm trying to read the and Bangkok Sunset. There you go. So that's the uncle's name. He is the guy that has been doing all these crosses, but now both of the niece and nephew are running the show over at Tamiami. They're the face. They're the millennials. So why not? Let's put the young faces out there and get them exposed to this world. And they just sell beautiful orchids. And this one, believe it or not, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 1 year, this little monkey gave me 4 spikes full of gorgeous blooms. And it is fragrant, of course. When you have Rincon Stylus in anything, I'm trying to remember, not Rincon's, Bangkok Sunset, you're gonna get some fragrance in there. Now above here, this is from Ophi's. I bought this about almost 3 years ago, and now you're seeing them a lot. I would safely say that this may be, nah, maybe not, because I know Curl Smith sells these, but I don't think this looks different from the one they have. Theirs is a little pinker, I think, or redder on the bottom. This is a little more rust, but it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. Such great tones. The yellow and pink, I'm telling you, those two colors together are just, I'm getting here a little bit of everything I love. Look, you got cranberry, you got yellow, you have pink and yellow, like the two combos that I love. So she only blooms once a year. She's not a heavy bloomer, but she has given me a keiki. So she's a happy plant. And here, let me give you the name. You know that last time I featured this plant a year ago, I didn't realize they had a tag dug inside, and I found the tag. This is the name. And a viewer of mine, I guess they specialize in these type of vandas. They gave me a whole list of correction. God bless them, because I'm not a specialist on these. I know that there's people, Sanderiana, I think that's how you say it, Sanderiana. There's people I really, really vibe with that type of vanda. It's a gorgeous vanda. And there's different hybrids, and she was explaining it. I was so lost. I'm like, okay, I'm happy that she knows and that she's out there, educating, because I have no idea what these are. But now that I found the tag, there it is, and I'm so happy that it has a name. This is from Lady Vanda as well. Now, I did talk to her. There's a Mocara. I forgot what kind of Mocara. She had told me the name. And this one is also always shooting beautiful little flowers. Now, this was one that did suffer a lot, and I spoke to Serena, and she told me that yes, that all of hers, that this one in specific, it was very weird, but it happened. But the plant is really healthy. It gives a lot of flowers constantly, and it lost several bottom leaves. So that's usually caused by stress. So if it happens to your orchids, don't be so afraid. If it's coming from the bottom, you're okay. You're okay, because that means it's just starting. It's acclimating. Now this here has been blooming for quite a while, but now I believe it's in his complete glory. And look at that vanda, guys. How beautiful, huh? All those freckles. Now this one was a gift years ago. It has no name. This is what I just put here just to remember. Vanda Burgundy Spotted. And right next to it, this one's starting to open. You see, when they start opening, they kind of look tiny, scrawny in a way, but then they get that big. They actually continue growing in size as the flower is opening and aging. And this one's kind of similar, but it gets way more yellow in the background, and the cranberry gets even deeper here. This is Painter's Dream crossed with Kalwadi Fragrance. And I've shown, oh, this is so beautiful. I'm glad I didn't pass this one by. Check this out. This Oncidium was one that I bought at the flea market, local flea market. And I fell in love, and I thought that it died. It was in a pot that was retaining too much water. And immediately I took it out and I put it in one of the wood pieces that I got from the orchid supply store in Georgia. And my God, it took off. So that's why I tell you guys, Oncidiums, here at least, they love being mounted on a wood piece. It mimics exactly how they grow out in nature. And you don't have to worry about overwatering because they are sensitive to overwatering. And this is a very fragrant flower. I don't know the name. I think they call this the popcorn Oncidium. Kind of looks like popcorn. But after I saved it, it gave me this gorgeous spike as a thank you and gratitude that she's doing really, really well. All right, guys, let's go on to my, ho, 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 ho. Look at this. I almost forgot to show you my Angraecum. How could I forget the biggest orchid I have here? Look how beautiful this is. Now, this is a night fragrant orchid. And it's just one of my favorite. I bought this at Orchids in Bloom from Pam at Tamiami, I would say 5 years ago, maybe, before the pandemic. Yeah, I think it was 2019, 2018. She is an old plant, or she's not old. Sorry, girl. She's mature. She's like, who are you calling old? You're not old, honey. You are maturing into a fabulous and gorgeous woman. Look at that. I think I call it a woman because it just looks so fancy and delicate, right? And these flowers are just, like imagine a wedding bouquet with those flowers. At night, guys, that fragrance is just absolutely incredible. And it is a species, Angraecum crestwood. If you guys get one of these, advice to you, do not keep them overwatered. They don't like it. Keep them very bright light, but controlled water. If water falls on it, you're gonna get fungus. These things get fungus very easy. I have another one here. This is a mini that was given to me by my friend Teresita, and I also keep it here. I have a sesquipetale, but I have that one. Sesquipetale, by the way, guys, is the Darwin orchid, the one with the very long tongue. I got this at Crawlsmith, but I did put it on volcanic rock. I'm testing it out, and it's done very well in it. And that way it can get rainwater without oversaturating the roots. And so far, so good. All right, I wanted to cover that because this really is a beautiful Angraecum. And as you can see, guys, you notice something? There's not a lot of calcium on my leaves. I cleaned a lot of my orchids, and I'm trying only to water at the base. It's hard, but it can be done. We're not going in the garage because honestly, there's nothing in there. Everything looks really clean. Like my leaves are clean, everything looks good. Considering we have several cold snaps. You know, certain things blasted with a cold snap. But most of everything just kind of fared very well. Now in here, for newbies that haven't been here, this is what I call my little Zen place where I like to sit right here where I'm sitting right now and just spend some time with my plants. And when it rains, it's even better because I'm just hanging. Oh, there's my thumb saying hello. And as you can see, I cleaned out a lot of this area. I'm only keeping certain anthuriums in here and moving all my large bulbophyllums because they're just getting way too big. I had to repot this. This is bulbophyllum graveolens. shoots that massive spike with huge, beautiful yellowish flowers. Are just gorgeous, and it gave me all this new growth. So I had to put her in a big, and these are also bubble philums that have gotten too big to be on the shelf. Gotta clean those leaves. And then I'm keeping only skinny leaves, veitchii, and other like type of leaves. Now in this section here is where I keep most, if not all, my regular Paphiopedilums. And on the opposite side, I keep my bulbophyllums and some dendrobiums and some Paphiopedilums. I'm sorry, I keep saying Paphiopedilum. I keep reversing Paph to Phalaenopsis and Phalaenopsis to Paphs. That's been happening, and I don't know why. Oh boy. So anyways, my Phalaenopsis, look at the spikes on these things. So what you guys are seeing, every single plant in here, for the exception of maybe one or two, have a spike. Or just the beginnings of one. Like I looked at everything and it's like has at least one spike. And the ones that have one spike are shooting multiple spikes from that spike. Look at that. That's going to be a show. So this is just letting me know that it's getting ready for spring. It's going to be an extremely floral spring because we're already getting beautiful, like this pyloric that I got from my friends over at Joseph Wu. Joseph Wu is a specialist of pyloric. Pyloric, that means that the labellum, the petals here are mimicking the labellum. See, instead of looking like that, they look more like that. So that's what pyloric means. Heavy, and this is like full pyloric. This is a full, this is the whole thing looks just like, I'm sorry, I put the tag back. That's why it's shaking. But look how pretty that flower is. And I got that at Redland last year at the Redland show. And it already gave me that spike. That's why when you buy in those bag babies, look, I put it in the, now I did use the New Zealand moss, like I've told you guys before. Use New Zealand moss. You know, when you come home, the ones that you definitely could, I would wait for it to stop blooming, but the ones that you could repot right away, in my experience, is a Phalaenopsis. They don't really suffer like other orchids are very sensitive. These don't suffer as much. At least when I've done it, I haven't had problems with it. Now this is a Florida Rainbow. This is a specialty fowl from Kroll Smith, and it got crossed with the George Vasquez Cristel, which is has an FCC, and anything with the name Cristel means that Frank thinks that believes that flower is so spectacular it deserves to have his mother's name, like the Heaven's Gate Cristel. So Frank Smith will always add Cristel if the flower that they crossed is worthy of being, that spectacular. So it's a very cool and fun fact to know. So when you shop and you see that, you know that it's a very special plant that you're picking up. And look at that. Look at this. This flower is just a kaleidoscope of beauty. With the little freckles underneath. Just lovely. And it has another spike here. This one's already drying up, but this one's a new one. That was a gift from my friend Lazarito. And it's always, my Summerize. I feature them all the time. They're showstoppers. They're always blooming. This is one dendrobium. I don't know if I want to move from here because it is just doing so well that why move it, right? Why not keep it here? And this is the name, one of my own tags. I'm being very careful because there's so many spikes. I've already snapped a couple, so I don't want to do that. I want to save them. Now this here is a dendrobium, believe it or not, is a species. The Cobianum has been with me for many, many years. I bought this in 2018 at the Fort Lauderdale Orchid Society show that they would run. They used to do it over by the docks, I think it's the convention center. And I bought this really tiny one. They had the mother there, and I ended up buying a tiny, like it was just one pseudobulb, I think. And I grew it into this, and look how beautiful. And the fragrance, guys, it's hard to film because it is a tiny flower. But overall, when you see it like this, that's really where the beauty is. At least for me, I find the beauty in the overall perspective. It just looks like teardropping, you know, almost like icicles or DNA strands for you science heads, biology heads. It looks like a DNA strand. So I really like it. It's one of my favorite in here. It gives such a cute and different little type of floral effect that you don't commonly see in the orchid world. And these, they keep on going. And look, they're gonna give so many. I think my light just went out. Yep, my light just went out. Perfect timing because we're almost done. These are the Tejas Giant from Kroll Smith. I gotta make a tag for this. I keep saying I'm gonna make it. Ambuonensis Tejas Giant. And this is a very, very fragrant flower. And I brought this back from the dead. I rose it like Lazarus. Look at that. All those are buds that are gonna open. So you're looking at possibly, woo, I'm not even gonna count, that's a lot. This spring is gonna be intense. I can't wait. And this one also has a gorgeous, this was a gift for my anniversary 2 years ago at Fairchild from Hayden at Kroll Smith. Isn't that a beautiful fowl? And look at the ends. Look how many little buds it has. There's like 3 in there. And it's grown a lot. This did not look like this. When I got it, it was a tiny little plant. Now, I don't know why this happens, these coily things. I found out it's not, could be overfeeding. You know, it kind of morphs the leaf a little bit. So I have cut back on the feeding a bit. But other than that, I think, you know, oh, how can I skip you, my cochleata? These are gorgeous here. I'm going to put you here so I can see you better. Look at these, how cute. This is a cochleata, and they call them the clamshell orchid, or the clam orchid, I think. I call it the octopus orchid. It looks so much like a little octopus. Look at that. And the color inside, I believe that's the labellum, it's reversed. The color inside that labellum is just absolutely stunning. There is cranberry and yellow. Wow, there's a lot of mosquitoes all of a sudden. Get away, mosquitoes! Get away! Look how pretty. And I got this at Fairchild Gardens also. Great segue. At Orchids in Paradise, maybe? Yeah, Anna, Orchids in Paradise. Or Orchid Paradise. Very pretty. It was tiny. It's giving me a lot. All right, guys. It's time to turn this puppy around. So guys, as usual, I always forget the ones that I'm growing outdoors, and I hate myself for doing that because they're so beautiful. This is the Louise Fuchs Myrmecophila Schomburgia. If you are purist and you don't want to call it a Myrmecophila, I think I'm saying that correctly, or as correctly as I can. And this one was named after Robert Fuchs, owner of RF Orchids. This was named after his grandmother, I believe. He told me it was his grandmother. Look at what a beautiful flower. And it's very, very fragrant. I bought this a couple of years ago, right after I believe the pandemic had just started to open up. And I went to Vicky's Orchids and she had this beautiful Schomburgia, and I had no idea what flower it had. It's gotten really big with me, and it kept on growing in the back here. Look, see? So this time it gave me 4 spikes, but short. It usually gives me these really, really big. Sorry, I am like itchy from all the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are really, they're hungry. It usually gives me these really huge spikes, but it's no good, no bueno, because the spikes always break with the wind in Miami. But this time they're so short and stocky that, look, they've held well in the hard rain we had and wind. This one, poor thing, did not. But look, it got pollinated so much. It has like 5 seed pods. Very fertile yard. Now back here again, I almost missed out on these beautiful red Renantheras. This one is called a red dragon. It's probably the reddest of all Renantheras that you're gonna find. It is a beautiful, beautiful orchid. I've shown this many times before. It does bloom almost all year round now. It was one of my very first that I got when I went to the Redline show once I moved down here. And I was totally in awe when I saw this. So I bought a tiny, tiny little cane that's grown almost 6 feet long and spikes year round. It's so pretty. And that is a Renanthera red dragon. The one right next to it, unfortunately, I had the name to this. These were canes that I bought. They were 5 for $100, and it's sold by an international vendor that goes all the time to Miami. I didn't see them this time. They have big boxes. I don't know the name of their business. It's not very, the booth is not very impressive. It's just 4 tables with big boxes. What's impressive is the amount of orchids they bring and the sizes. So I bought 4 of these. Actually, we bought 5, but one went to a friend of mine and the other 4 went to me. And this is the first time it blooms. And it kind of looks like the red dragon, but it has those beautiful, almost cranberry and yellow spots. And this is one that really, really did not acclimate very well. Renantheras, guys, when you bring them home, that's going to happen. They're going to lose most likely a lot of leaves. The good thing is they do grow roots upward, so once it starts growing all those roots, you can cut it and reduce the size. That way you don't have this long skinny stick with leaves on top. So this one, it lost a lot on the bottom, but at least this top area is really looking beautiful. And I mixed it in with epidendrums. These are epidendrums. I kill them all the time on the ground, so I shoved them in here with nothing, and look, they love it. So, you know, when one thing doesn't work, try something else, because you may simplify things and it'll work for you much better. All right, now I'll show you right here before I turn this around. I don't know what that was. That was weird. Interesting. All right, my machine's doing the AI. It's coming to life. So anyways, these are Vambrero hybrids that I get from Moats that are now finally giving me beautiful, healthy flowers. They had bloomed before, but you know, they were acclimating. So when they first start acclimating, if they bloom, sometimes the flower comes out pretty gnarly. Here's the actual name. Whatever that gunk is, must be tree sap. Now here is, I thought it was gonna be done. Man, this is gonna be a long video. My videos are getting longer because there's so much content. These are my long-awaited Rinkin Stylus Pendulant, or chandelier, Rinkelier. You have been christened Rinkelier. Look how pretty, guys. Now I do have it up here because it's gotten so big that it was bumping with everything, and I'd rather have it atop and not lose any flowers or spikes. And it does love it up there. And they're all different kinds. I have the Alba there. The Alba is really pretty. Let me see if this works. Hold on. Yay, it does. So that's the Alba. This is a, I think they call this a cartoon. Spot it? I lost my light. Sounds like the title to a song. My light went out, the battery ran out. Forgot to charge it. And then this is another, I think they call cartoon spotted. So I just mix them up in this, what did we call it? I already forgot. Oh, I'm a little tired. My ring clear. My ring clear. So guys, one thing I noticed on my side of town is that when they bloom, the bottom leaves will sometimes yellow out. When the blooms fall out, they become super, super green and they shoot brand new growth. And that's how they grow. That's how I've noticed them growing. But it is a gorgeous, it's turning into a gorgeous specimen. And my beautiful Annie Belle, it's also my other project. I added her here and she's doing beautiful. Can't wait to see her bloom. And this is the kind that blooms all at the same time. So when it shoots flowers, all canes will shoot at the same exact time. Should I show you one more? Okay, I'll show you one more. This is a Josephine Vambrero cross with a Colwadi fragrance. One of Moat's specialty vandas. I love putting these around the yard. They do so well. You buy them at the shows. Usually 3 for $75. I think that's what they charge. Those are the 3 I got. And lo and behold, this is the second time it blooms. Again, the first time it bloomed, it was gnarly. The flower looked weird. But since I already know what to expect, it didn't worry me because I knew the second time around. It's like, you know, when a baby grows his hair, the hair is kind of gnarly sometimes, like thinning out, like not looking too abundant. And then all that hair falls out and then the real nice hair comes out. Well, that's sort of like when you put an orchid on a tree and it blooms for the first time as it's acclimating. This has been here for a while. This is one of my older ones on the tree, and look, it's got that big spike. So for the first time, she will be spiking, and I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's some Josephine Vambrero type of hybrid. So guys, as always, I forgot to cover my Arachnus orchid. And the Arachnus orchid has been growing on this mango tree for about 2 years now. I had it growing off of a pot against my screen house, and it did not really like it. So I decided to put it here. Actually, it did like it. It was just getting too tall. So I ended up putting it against this tree, and lo and behold, look how many spikes this beauty has given me this year. I stopped at like 12 when I was counting the spikes. And in the midsection as well, it's giving me plenty and plenty of spikes. I have to say right now, this is one of my pride and joys. It's really a spectacular, spectacular orchid. All right, guys, that is it. That is the end of this episode. It was a long one, but I think it was a good one. There was a lot to show. And I left some things out because I already showed it in my last What's in Bloom. So if you guys saw something in the background that I didn't focus on, most likely is because I already showed it in December. So go back and check those out and you'll see how much I had in bloom in December, which was a surprise. But what will be spectacular is going to be spring. I can't wait. There's so many spikes. I've never had this many spikes. I haven't been feeding that much lately. I've kind of slowed it down in the winter. As you can see, Florida winter, that's what we get here. I'm not complaining. Thank you. Grateful. I do like that it's this temperature. It's nice in the high 70s, like 78, 79. Kind of breezy, so it's perfect for my orchids and for me to be out here. Now, I will be leaving at the very end some information on orchid shows. That's how I've been doing it. It's much easier that way. That way I don't take too much time in the end to say goodbye. And I will, let me see, is there anything I want to, oh, I'm going to have an orchid visit to Marlene. She owns the company Orchitique, and she makes beautiful jewelry. She does candles, she does soap, she does everything orchid, and her inspiration is her garden. Now, she's been collecting for many years. She is one of those master collectors, and you guys that have been following me, you've seen Mercedes, you've seen Maria. Wait until you see Marlene. And I always tell them, I go, you know, isn't it interesting how all three of you are Cuban and all three of you start with an M? There's something to that. But I'm so happy that I'm experiencing and I'm on this journey with them, whatever it is. But anyway, that's going to be my next visit. And then I have Ophies, and I have Mercedes also, and Maria. So I will be visiting Marlene first because I haven't visited her yet. I want to give that an opportunity first thing this year. I'll be doing it Sunday, and then hopefully I'll get to Mercedes and then Maria. Maybe I'll do it like that. I don't know yet. Whatever the time allows. All right. So I think that's it. I covered it all. So guys, thank you so much for sticking by. If you stuck by all the way to the end, you are my true troopers. I love you guys. You guys are the real McCoys, the ones who stick by me, and you know, I appreciate that very much. And when I see you guys out in the shows and I put the face to it, that's the problem. I get so excited that I want to hang out and I'm not videotaping. And then when I videotape rushing. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what we do this year. Let's see how we can make this a little different, so that way everybody's happy, including moi. All right, guys. So until next time, I am Nelson. You've been watching Nature Nell, and remember to always keep it green. See you next time.